Quora.com. What do you look for in a perfect wife? The following answers have been filtered out to only the top rated ones and is coming from Quora accounts as shown publicly in the video. All answers belongs to their rightful owners. Yikes, I'm scared to say because people nowadays don't always like truth. To start, I need to say I've counseled about 50 couples and women in my lifetime, both pre-marriage and years in. I've heard so many tales and I've listened to men who tell me what they really need even though they were too scared to say. Every marriage is different, but from a high level, this is what I would say are the top qualities a woman could provide in a perfect marriage. Number 1. Intimacy. Love your husband and never stop yearning to know him better. Don't pull away when angry. Lean into him. Husbands desperately want to get closer to their wives, to feel acknowledged and needed by their wives. Men who are divorcing say, "She never lets me do anything for her," and wives say, "He never does anything for me." It would be funny if it wasn't so sad. Men want to satisfy their wives by doing things and to be the man who brings his wife pleasure and closeness like no other. Don't allow the you to get in the way of the us. Number 2. Respect. Wives need unconditional love, husbands need unconditional respect. It sounds archaic, I know. Often, when a husband loves his wife the way he should, it is easy for a wife to respect her husband. Likewise, when a wife shows respect to her husband, it is easier for him to show love the way he should. While this is usually a nice trade-off, it doesn't always work. Even if a wife doesn't feel loved by her husband, this isn't an excuse to not show respect to her husband. Just trust me. Wives who treat their husbands like children deflate them, and this destroys marriages faster than anything else I have seen. Number 3. Be dependable and dependent. A husband needs a wife who he can count on when the going gets tough, and he needs a wife who he can rely on when he can't cope. Wives who always have it all figured out make husbands feel useless. A man needs to feel needed sometimes, but also needs to know that when he needs something, you will always be there. Number 4. Submission. Yep, I went there. I know this is seriously not popular, but I'm not sorry. I am a strong woman in my marriage and have accomplished many things in my time, so understand when I was younger I would have lost my marbles if someone told me I have to submit to anyone. This is not, "Make me a coffee, woman," or anything like that. It's saying, "I love my husband and respect what he says." That doesn't mean you can't have a conversation. It simply means that you don't feel above him, nor should he ever say he is. After talking with all those couples, this is one of the foundations I have found. The husband says, "You never listen to me," and the wives say, "Are you kidding? If you would stand up and get off the couch and be a man, I would listen." Then the husband says, "If I ever stood up to you, you'd push me down so hard you'd make me feel stupid." Then the wife says, "You get the picture." Husbands need to lead their families. Wives need to submit and respect their husbands. So scary to say, but take a minute to talk to someone married 10 years and ask if this makes sense or is it old thinking. You might be surprised at the response. I welcome conversation around this. I'm just hoping the backlash isn't too crazy. The ideal qualities in a wife would be: Number 1. Patience. She should have patience and plenty with the husband, children, in-laws. Rome was not built in a day. She shouldn't keep nagging her husband for own house, separate house, car, jewelry, soldiers for every festival, functions, etc. House and car will come in due course. Number 2. Loving and kind nature. She should be loving and kind and not get upset and angry over minor issues with husband, children and in-laws. Number 3. X. Many women use X as a tool to get what they want. Never ever use X as a weapon for the fulfillment of your wants. By doing this you are objectifying yourself and putting a price for X. It doesn't make you any different from a ex worker. Your husband will instantly lose respect for you and search for gratification elsewhere. Number 4. Smiling face. Keep a smiling face when your husband gets home tired from work in the evenings. Greet him with a hot cup of tea, coffee and light snacks. Seeing your smiling face, he will forget his tensions and tiredness. All problems can be discussed leisurely when he is relaxed. Number 5. Watching TV. If you are a housewife, you can let your husband watch football, cricket, news, whatever he likes after he gets home from office. Since most serials have repeat telecasts the next day, else you can watch your favorite serials next day. In case you are a working woman, allocate some TV time for him, some for you and the kids. If you have finished the chores, you can join him in watching cricket, etc. This will increase your bonding with him. Number 6. Allocation of housework. If you are both working, you can mutually decide which jobs each of you will do instead of arguing and fighting over it. If both are too busy, then you can hire a maid and cook. Housewives can allocate some time on Sundays for any jobs to be done by husbands and let them also relax and do whatever they want for the rest of the time. Number 7. Listen. Don't just hear but listen when he talks to you. When he discusses office problems with you, you can offer some suggestions to solve the problems if you are also a working woman. Just a sympathetic ear will make him feel better. Number 8. Limit your phone time. At least when husband is in the house, limit your phone time. Don't spend hours on the phone oblivious to the world around you. Many men do get irritated when wives do this. Don't discuss your personal problems. Sex lives with friends and family. Most men hate it. Number 9. Comparing. Don't compare your husband with any other man. Just as you don't like to be compared, they too hate it. Number 10. Praise. Be generous with your praise when he gets you some gift or does some job around the house. You will be surprised at how much you can get done by praise than criticism. Number 11. Hugs and kisses. Most important, give him little hugs and kisses when you are alone and watch him blush. Most men love such small displays of affection as much as women. They feel loved and wanted. Number 12. Dress attractively. Wear whatever pleases your husband, sometimes at least on special occasions. Don't go around in a dowdy nightie all day long. It pisses off most men. Number 13. Judicious spender. She should spend her husband's hard-earned money carefully and not waste it on unwanted, unnecessary things. If she wants to give gifts to her family, she should ask his opinion before doing so. Number 14. Blackmail. Don't blackmail him with threats of divorce and police complaint after every minor misunderstanding or quarrel. I'm sure the 21st century man would be happy even if half the qualities listed above were present in their wives. Let me play devil's advocate. I've been happily married 20 years, with 2 kids, and have seen almost all of my married friends end up in divorce, in which the man, inevitably, gets destroyed. What I've seen is that modern women are often terrible wives. After 10 to 15 years of marriage, they file for divorce, destroying everybody, especially the kids. So my answer is, marry a woman who does not have high expectations, who you think is less likely to divorce you. Because otherwise, trust me, she will divorce you and all her other great qualities won't mean anything. Most women today subscribe to the notion that if you're not happy with him, divorce him. The problem is, all marriages hit a point where she is unhappy. Marriages always hit bad spots. So a woman who is okay with the possibility of divorce is almost guaranteed to pull the trigger and divorce you. She will have many friends, themselves divorced and unhappy, who will encourage her to divorce you. Misery loves company. Women with high expectations will always have higher and higher expectations. They want more. That is the nature of married women. You will never satisfy them, and they will leave to find somebody better. During divorce, you will be destroyed. The system is completely rigged against men, or at least, in the US and Europe. I don't know about India. You will lose every dime, live in a trailer, and lose your children. You'll watch with horror as your children become the stepchildren to some other man, who is often a dangerous man, because your divorced wife will pick some loser. I was lucky. I married a very old-fashioned American woman, who just doesn't agree with feminism at all. My wife wanted to be a wife and mother. She is also a poet and a writer, but her primary desire in life was to have a family, and that's her priority. She doesn't care about career and didn't spend huge amounts of time getting a big degree and building up a lot of school debt. She likes and respects men and doesn't become friends with women who are angry and try to poison her relationship with me. Her parents are old-fashioned and have been married for 60 years themselves. So in summary, you can marry the most beautiful, smart, accomplished woman in the world, a woman with a great career, etc. But most likely, that is exactly the kind of woman who will divorce you and destroy your children's happiness forever, just because she has unrealistic expectations. So all those great qualities will backfire and ruin your life. Pick a woman who is modest and makes marriage her first priority. Otherwise, don't get married. Marriage has been changed in the past 40 years to make it a terrible risk and a rotten deal for men. Just don't do it. Date beautiful women but don't take the risk of marrying them. Note that a huge number of men subscribe to this. They don't plan to ever get married because they know it's too dangerous. You will have plenty of friends to spend time with as a free single man. So ladies, how would you describe your ideal husband? Share your dream husband down below. To see more educational videos like this, make sure to subscribe.